Because here's the thing, men are no longer falling in love. That's the truth. When you hear a man rage like this, it's because he's not feeling safe in the world. This is the sad thing, is if you're damaged and you're not prepared to heal yourself, you keep attracting people that will damage you. But what we do need to do is get into the truth. Hello and welcome to the Black Swan Life here, where we teach you how to do love and life the Black Swan way. So welcome, ladies and now gentlemen. We have quite a few gentlemen in today's segment. We're actually going to be answering some men's questions for a change, but I know you ladies will have a lot to learn as we speak to the men, and you might learn a thing or two about how to actually speak to men. So perhaps they may listen. So today if you haven't already subscribed, liked, shared, or commented, please feel free to do that right now. Don't forget, don't be like me. I watch all this beautiful content and I forget to subscribe. I don't know about you, Yvonne. And yes, we have Coach Yvonne in the studio with us today. Hello. And she's going to be doing some important work. She's going to be using her radio voice to read out some questions. And so on the topic of comments, what we've really decided to do is to really interact with our community, really get to know you, hear your voices. And so we spent a lot of time, the team and I, in the comments section where things are really happening, where the real conversations are happening. And we don't want to talk at you. We want to educate you here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. So we want to really be a part of the conversation in the comments. So do put your comments in. We will be watching, we'll be reading, and who knows, we may have what you have to say as a talking point on our next podcast. And so for the next few episodes, we're really going to just be talking to you. We're just going to invite you to come and sit with us here, take a seat and ask us, and let's have real conversations because they're happening in the comments section, and we want to address it and hopefully make a difference in all of your love lives and your lives in general. So having said all that, do not forget to like. Okay. And Coach Yvonne, when you're ready, why don't you give us the first question from the men? Let's have it.
Right. Hey, everyone. And this question comes from a gentleman, Anibis was 6992. And it's in response to your video, why high-value masculine men do not consider themselves a prize. And his question is, why is the man not a prize? He wants to know.
Right.
And wants to know what's masculine about thinking yourself not worthy for love. He goes on to say, that's what high self-esteem is, knowing your worth. What do you think?
Thank you. See, I did tell you she had a radio voice. Right, so the video, why high-value masculine men do not consider themselves the prize. Well, I can see that Anibis was 6992. Probably didn't get to watch the video.
Yes.
I think we are living in a world where everybody is really super triggered. And there's what I really want to say about that in terms of tone, because what I'm hearing is hurt. I'm hearing a hurt man, and I think as women, we don't always understand that men are hurting. Men are hurting as much as women are hurting. And until you get to work with men and have an open, safe space for them to talk, you won't actually understand their struggle. So when you read this on the face, you know that it feels attacking.
Yes.
But when we are attacking, often it's because we have some underlying anger. There's a lot of rage in the world. The bottom line is there's a lot of rage, especially when it comes to relationship, highly emotional topics. They can turn a good person into a monster the moment we start talking about relationships. And that is because relationships are life. And we are living in a very different time where everybody's disillusioned. And everybody's feeling unheard, unseen, unnoticed, especially with technology. Everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody's speaking to a screen. And so this comment says to me, I've been watching stuff on the digital space, and women have been diminishing men.
Yes.
And women have been pulling men down and calling themselves the prize, calling themselves the valuable item, calling themselves the worthy item, and to the detriment of us men. And I can't imagine that's something that a woman or man wants to feel. But what we do need to do is get into the truth. And the truth is that, I don't want to get too much into the emotion of it, but we don't want to be vulnerable and just say, look, I'm hurting that I'm not being chosen. I'm hurting because the woman that I want to have doesn't want to have me. And that the excuse they're using is I'm the prize, I'm not the prize. But I know this is a conversation. We chose this question because it's a conversation that is rampant on the internet.
Yes,
you know,
this is
men
true.
are like, I'm the prize too.
Yeah.
And women are like, I'm the prize. And here's the thing, it's about language and communication. Just because we're using the same word doesn't mean that we have given it the same meaning. To Mr. Anubis Wars 6992's point, he has attributed prize to self-worth, esteem, and value. And that's great. But when a woman uses I'm the prize, she's not speaking to any of those things. Now let's look at it from the feminine and masculine dynamic. The feminine is passive, patient, and vulnerable. She is available, she's receptive to the man, but her position is always seated. Feminine energy is seated energy. It's always in place, like the egg. The egg doesn't swim around. It doesn't go towards the sperm. Okay, it sits in a place where it is valuable, and we have a certain amount of eggs, and it is very valuable to have eggs, and it costs women thousands to freeze their eggs because a woman's eggs diminish as she gets older. The value of them is such that they're rare, they're few, and they're important. And so feminine energy, we liken that to the egg that sits and waits, pays passively and patiently to be contained, to be fertilized, so that life can happen, right? And the sperm is the active one. It's swimming at 100 miles an hour, and they're competing because masculine energy is competing, it's conquering, it's competitive, it's controlling. Masculine energy is that movement, that forward movement, that focus, that go-getter. That's masculine energy, and we know that we have both masculine and feminine energy. So when we're talking about a prize, if we're going to use it as a symbol, a prize is passive. It doesn't move. Have you seen a walking trophy?
No.
Or even a talking one? Even when you go to the Olympics, the gold medal doesn't talk. It remains passive, waiting to be won, right? Waiting for a champion. So in that video, what I was actually talking about is that the masculine man sees himself as a champion in this world. He sees himself as one that penetrates the world and makes things happen and creates things from nothing and penetrates, because masculine energy penetrates. Everything about a man is built for penetration. His muscles, his body, his psychology, his hormonal makeup, he is created for penetration. And a man gets what he wants by going for it, by competing for it, by conquering a thing. And so when he does that, he gets the prize. The prize can be his lifestyle. The prize can be, the car that belongs to him, the business that is successful that belongs to him. So when we're in masculine energy, we are pursuing a prize, the prize of a relationship. So a masculine man in his masculine psychology doesn't think, I'm the prize, somebody come and win me. Somebody, so when a man sits there and says, I'm the prize, what you're saying is, I am passively waiting for a woman to be my champion. Right? This is why masculine men don't operate that way. This is why masculine men will go into a room like the girl and go for her. Right? He's scared like every other man of rejection, but his masculinity, his testosterone, his psychology says, I get out of life what I compete for, what I go for. And so you will never hear a masculine energy man who sits in his masculine energy referring to himself as a prize, but you will hear him refer to himself as a champion. You will hear him refer to himself as a winner, right? Who won that beautiful girl, who won that achievement. He's the masculine man. And when we as women are in masculine energy, we're like, I'm a champion, right? We're in masculine energy. So when men run around the internet saying, I'm the prize, they don't understand that the language they're using is feminine language. The woman is taught, I am to be won. I am valuable in my being. I need to be kind. I need to be thoughtful. I need to be nurturing. I need to be feminine so that a man would win me, so that the most powerful, the strongest, the most competent and capable man will win my heart. So she refers to herself as a prize because she works so hard on being a great woman, right? She works so hard on her character. She works hard on her mind. She works hard on her emotions so that she may be worthy. So she may be worthy of a man competing for her, worthy of a man fighting for her, worthy of a man conquering mountains to be with her. And so when a woman says, I am the prize, she's not saying I have more worth than you. She's not saying I'm more valuable than you. She's not saying I'm more worthy of love than you. She is saying, I am sitting here, King, and I'm waiting for you to find me. I'm waiting for you to go to war for me because I've worked so hard to be worthy of you, right? And so when the champion gets the prize, then we have this beautiful thing of the champion now has something that says, hey guys, I'm the one with the gold medal, right? Yeah. And then we celebrate that person. Yes. And we you know, when they win the Olympic prize, we put them on television and we endorse them, right? That's what it should be. The man and the woman together should have a celebratory, complementary relationship. When a man finds his wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Yes. That means this man is now complete. So when we are referring to, when I said in that video is, how about we change our language, gentlemen, and we refer to ourselves as champions. Yes. And here's the thing. Not every man is a champion. Yes. And not every woman is a prize. Yes. Okay. This is some men are not champions because some men don't go for their dreams. Yeah. They don't go for the woman they want. And they don't put in the work. They don't strive, right? So they don't have a champion heart. And some women, they don't care about their character. They're just about, and they don't care. They want, the world owes them. Yes. That's not a prize. Yes. So even in using that word, it's not really we assign champions to men or we assign prizes to women. We're really talking about, here at least in the Black Swan Relationship Academy, when we're using these words, we are referring to people who are black swans, who are rare and exquisite, who desire to be valued to the world. Yes. You know, that's that. So hopefully that will calm you down and help you know that we love you, men. Here at the Black Swan Relationship, men are loved, right? And that's what we were talking about there.
The question that he asked is in two parts. And so before I read the second part to you, I just want to clarify on some of the things that you're saying, because what I'm hearing you say, and I'm hoping that the men who are listening to us will also hear this. Right. Basically, number one, change your language. Right. Number two, change the way in which you see yourself and what it is that you are doing. And number three, understand that the fact that, yes, you are worthy, we're all worthy, and you are worthy of pursuing your very best. Yes. Going out there and being, not being the prize, but being somebody's champion. Yes. Now, if I'm given an opportunity for a prize or a champion, I know which one I want. I would want a champion. Yes. Because if you're thinking about a prize is something that you would get and you put it on a shelf and you leave it there. Every so often you go around and you dust it. You glance at it and you go on. Yeah. That's not what I would want in a man. Yes. I would want him to be that champion, to go out, to strive and to do the things that we want to do, that we said we were going to do to make our lives wonderful. But you can't do that if you're an object that's placed somewhere only to be looked at from time to time. So, if and all the men out there who are listening, look at yourself again and ask yourself, what do I want to be? Do I want to be the champion, or do I want to be a prize? Because
well, if you want to be a prize, you have to sit at home and look pretty, and
and that's my job.
But I want to look pretty for you. I want to look cute for you. I want to, absolutely. The issue, sadly, is that we have an unfathered generation of men, and equally an unmothered generation of women. Yes. Yes. And when you have a father, when I was raising my son, even when I was still married to my ex, I would want to mollycoddle him day and night. No, don't make him do. It's not right. To just come and sit next to Mummy. And my ex-husband would be like, nope, get up, do this. And I'm just only a baby, right? And even now, I was very conscious that even though I'm divorced, I want my son to have a relationship with his father, because a man can only make a man a man.
Yes.
And one of the things that my ex-husband was able to instill in my son is that competitive, I remember when he was going to judo, when every time he got slammed on the ground, my heart would break in 1,000 pieces. But my ex-husband would be like, go on, son, go, get up, get it together. And so, when you have a father, he will encourage you to get up and go. He will remind you that you're a king, you're a champion, you're a man.
Yes.
And so it's built in your DNA that life will come at you. You will get slapped. You will get beaten, but you get up.
Yes.
And what that does is it feeds a man's masculine energy, because the masculine has to do good to feel good.
Yes.
And let me just say something. When a masculine man attains a woman, that woman feels good to him.
Yes.
When you see a masculine man with a woman that he fought to get, that he worked hard, and he protects her.
Yes.
And he provides for her. And when that woman is walking down the street and he knows that she looks good because I do that. That's me. I make sure my woman has it all. That man feels good in his body.
Yes.
And that man walks a certain kind of way and enters every room a certain kind of way. And that's why women are like, oh my God, I really fancy him. That's why we're attracted so much to that, because it's the energy. Of a champion.
Yes.
There's something about I don't care if it's 5'2" or 7. It doesn't matter. If a man sits in his masculine energy, nobody cares about how he looks, because the aura of that man, the way he feels to a woman's body, when as a woman you're in the presence of masculinity, there's something about you that rests. Even if you're like me and you're Miss Powerful, Miss Go-Getter, all of a sudden you're like,
I can attest to that, because yes, that is you.
Yeah. And men want that in a woman, but they have not been taught by a father what the price, there's a price point to that. There's to get that femininity, to get that high valueness, you have to be a man that takes pride in winning things.
Yes.
And in our generation, where if I had raised my son without a father, he would take pride in getting things. He would use women.
Yes.
He would sleep around with women. He would use things. He would not. But the masculine is, I know women are going to get upset about this, but he's as close to God in the nature of God.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Adam was built in the nature of God. And we are an imitation of Adam.
Yes.
Right? And the nature of God is giving, life-giving. It's creative. It's power. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a man and not be masculine, right? But I understand that if it's not taught, if you're nurtured in a feminine way, if I raise my son, he wouldn't ever know the power of what it is to be a man and to be in masculine energy, because men metabolize masculinity way easier than a woman ever can.
Yes.
We have masculine energy, but our bodies, our psychology, our hormonal structure, our nervous system doesn't metabolize masculinity well.
Yes.
We stay in masculine energy, we start to break down our body. We start to break down our psychology. We're really good with being feminine.
Yes, very much so. Do you know, if I'm hearing right, what you're saying is, unfortunately, the way society is nowadays, a woman shouldn't raise a boy on her own. And it's like a man shouldn't raise a girl on her own. And unfortunately, most homes nowadays, it's they're single-parent families.
Yes.
And it's the woman that's carrying the load.
Yeah.
And because she doesn't have the testosterone, she doesn't produce it. So she's going to raise her son the way in which she'll
raise him like a girl.
Yeah, very
with
much so.
With female priorities.
And that's what's happened, I think, in a lot of men. because there aren't enough real men around. And I say real not because the others are fake, but the masculine man who's out there, who is the champion, who, you know, if you get knocked down, you get up, you go again. And it's not just being knocked down and getting up that makes you a man, but it's the fact that you're pursuing, you're on a journey to get to somewhere. And on that journey, part of that is to find yourself a good wife and, you know, build a home together, have a future with this person, grow, and help her to also grow in, you know, the nature of being her best authentic self. But when you don't know that, and you come away and you listen to all the other people out there who are saying, it's us that's the prize, let's wear the prize, and you buy that, it is very difficult then to get that man to switch and to change his way of thinking, because that way of thinking may get him somebody, but he's not going to be able to keep her. And when two dysfunctional people come together, the outcome of this is not going to be pleasant for either of them.
No.
So,
and he's not going to be able to love her.
No.
Because here's the thing, men are no longer falling in love. That's the truth. Women fall in love with anything. It's cute. Our emotional wiring, the chaos of the feminine, means we can fall in love very easily.
Yes.
Men stopped falling in love, and I'll tell you why. Because their oxytocin comes out, works better in a man. The bonding hormone comes out in a man as he gives. So a man will bond biochemically to the one he is investing in and giving. Now, when you have women chasing men, doing for men, and men saying, yeah, equal rights, 50-50, you know, you do, I do. What you're finding is men are playing games way more than they ever used to in times past, because they're not falling in love.
Yes.
When a man is not giving, he's not giving himself an opportunity to fall in love. Now there'll be men that say, well, I've given and I've been gold dug and I've been abused and I've been whatever. And we might talk about that in one of the other questions about what that is about and how we can mitigate that. Again, because we are unparented. We're an underparented generation.
Yes.
You know, Gen X, millennials and down, we are very underparented. And so we're navigating the world doing the right things for the wrong people at the wrong time, right? Because nobody, you know, even, you know, these men that were raised, provide, protect, cherish, but then they weren't told for who, though.
Yes.
Because not every woman is worthy, right? I tell my son, you must be a man, you must provide, you must protect, you must cherish, but you must also know the type of woman worthy of that.
Yes.
You must protect, you know, women, the world, it's your right as a man and your godlike nature to protect the universe and protect your world regardless. But the one you invest in, she has to be a particular type of woman.
Yes.
Right? And it's parents that are supposed to teach their children. Right? We have left it to the education system. We've left it to the, you know, the world.
Yes.
But the Bible says parents teach your children. The mandate is on the parent pertaining to all things concerning life. We must teach our children. So what we have you know, people that raise themselves, were raised by television, running around saying things like, why can't I be the prize as well? And then one of the things that men need to understand is when you use the wrong language, even women too, we're talking about the men right now, but you know, when you use certain language inside the woman's body, if she is feminine, if she even had any ounce of attraction for you, let's say she had attraction out of 10 was at 8. Then you sit there and say, well, I'm also the prize. She's now at 2 because that energy is feminine. And when a feminine and feminine come together, chemistry goes out the window and friendship begins to develop. So that's why when a woman is like, you know, I really liked him when I saw him, but I don't know. I mean, she doesn't know why she's lost attraction. She's not conscious. It's not like I've lost attraction because he said I'm the prize. She's feeling in her body a lack of chemistry, a lack of attraction. So we need to be careful that, especially men, that you don't jump into these internet foolishness. Because a lot of great guys are missing out on great women because they're falling prey. Let's move on to the second
part of, because we could be here for a long time. The second part of the question is, he says that men put a lot and they make a lot of sacrifice. And he is also saying that women can be replaced. Did you know that?
Apparently.
We can be replaced very easily, it seems. It's not because we're not interested in their purpose or their passions. And he says that's the mark of a masculine man. There's more to do in the world than waste time trying to get worthless trophies. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is a prize not a trophy? Just wondering.
Okay, so this part B is where the pain
is. Yes.
Yeah, because if you're not a trained professional who has many difficult conversations with people, you're going to miss the pain. You know, you're going to miss that whenever we see people angry, anger, I always say, is an auxiliary emotion, a secondary emotion that often hides the primary emotion. Underneath anger is often hurt, rejection, disappointment, despair.
Yes.
Usually despair.
Yes.
There's so many other more complex, more shame, more complex emotions under anger. And we don't want to be vulnerable because it feels unsafe. Because one of the things as well that has happened is men have become more feminized. They feel less safe.
Yes.
A man feels safe when he's in his masculine because he has strength and power, because because his actions and his doings make him strong, make him mentally strong. The things he has to fight, the battles he has to fight, the bears he has to kill, the lions he has to fight, they make him strong. And so the strength keeps him feeling safe, right? He doesn't contain. Safety is a protocol for the feminine. We feel unsafe all the time. We walk into every room and think, is he going to try and rape me? We're always on the alert because our bodies are fragile, and we are fragile beings in our being. And so when you hear a man rage like this, it's because he's not feeling safe in the world. He's not feeling that the world's a safe place because he's not developed that strength. And so what does he do? When you don't feel safe and you don't feel strong, you find the weakest thing to fight.
Yes.
Right? So, masculine men will, if they hear that big man is beating this woman and it's the brother or the father, they're going to go beat him up, right? Because they're going to be like, why are you preying on this? Fight a real man, right? They're going to be like, fight a real man.
Yes.
You want to fight this woman?
Yeah.
Why is he fighting the woman? Because he doesn't feel strong amongst men. So he will go and find a woman and fight. A masculine man, the mark and the hallmark of a masculine man is he finds no pleasure in diminishing the feminine. He finds no pleasure.
I want you to say that again. But the reason why I'm being so serious is because I think a lot of men out there think that being masculine is about strength and it's about overpowering her, and not understanding that actually that strength is to protect, not to harm.
Yes.
Even if you're having the most heated of arguments, your one thing in your mind is, I must protect her at all costs.
Yeah.
And men don't understand that. So please say that again.
Well, not all men. The masculine men totally
Yes.
understand it. All the masculine men here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy will be in the comments saying, yes, smart woman.
Yeah.
They're always the ones doing exactly.
Yeah.
I believe that. You can tell when, because this work attracts masculine men. I find that, I'm surrounded by masculine men, and you will see them in the comments.
Yes.
But there are these odd few who I truly believe he believes he's being masculine. This is the version of masculinity that's been sold to men recently.
Yes.
And because if you're in a quorum of thousands and thousands and thousands of people saying the same thing, you think they must be right. But often the majority are wrong.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't think this guy is a bad guy. I don't think that he's trying to hurt anyone. I don't think he even means what he's saying. I mean, I'm a soft person. I like to believe in the best in people. I don't think he really believes that women are worthless trophies. I think that he's hurt. Somebody's hurt him. Something has hurt him. Something is going on. And I would, if he was in front of me, number one, he would just love me because I'm very good with men. I'm charming. But if he was in front of me and he said that, I would be curious to really find out why he feels that way. I think this young man would very much love to meet a beautiful, kind, sweet woman who would love him and respect him. And so I think much of the rage is because he obviously can't. And I can tell you that from what we've answered in this question alone, this is a man that is struggling to get a quality woman.
Yes.
I can tell you that because if you're approaching women with that mindset and that energy, you're always going to struggle. You will attract women, but they're going to be Jezebel. They're going to be women that are ruthless, narcissistic, mean, spirited. This is a sad thing, is if you're damaged and you're not prepared to heal yourself, you keep attracting people that will damage you further. So what I would love for him to do is to take a journey and heal and believe in himself and believe that you can be a champion and you can have the woman of your dreams. That is the most beautiful thing about being masculine. You can have what you want if you go for it.
Very much so. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to being in a relationship, is that healthy relationships, it's about both of you taking care of each other. And, it shouldn't be that I'm here, you're here. It should be on equal footing where, everyone is there for each other to make sure that, we're going to do this and we're going to raise our children this way. We're going to do things, that is right for both of us. And it isn't even funny when you think about, here's this man going around and this are his thoughts where women are concerned. And sometimes when I hear somebody says, worthless, my first thought is, so why do you think you're worthless?
Yes.
Because for you to use that language, somebody said it to you. And if somebody said, oh, go away, you're worthless, or whatever the situation may be, then you put that and you think, oh, but they are worthless.
Project that onto the world.
It's what you think, and it's your, own belief that you've got. And this gentleman really does need, some help so that he can heal from those wounds.
He might not agree. He might think he does not need your help, woman. So whatever.
Okay.
But hopefully we have answered his question.
Yeah, I hope so.
So maybe one more before we call it a day.
Right, okay.
What do you have for us?
We have a question from, if I pronounce this wrong, I am so sorry. It's from Matrusane, and it's 3616. And it's from your video, Why Feminine Women Should Not Date Broke. And the question is, dating women is confusing. Sometimes, especially when femininity is where femininity is concerned. How do men see the difference?
Right. So this is another question from a guy. And the video was why feminine women should not date broke.
Yes.
And I believe I was talking about why, as a woman, you shouldn't be broke.
Yes.
And, you're hungry.
Yes.
You can't pay your bills.
Yeah.
You can't make ends meet and you're out here dating.
Yes.
Because what happens is you come out into the dating world like a gold digger. You come out into the dating world to use men and to, and also you come out unprepared, and you also put yourself in a vulnerable position where if this man pays for this, now you have to sleep with him or whatever it is. So a woman needs to have that security of her own. You don't have to be rich, but you need to know that, I can get there, I can get back, and if he doesn't pay the bill, I can cover it, and at the end of the day, I have a degree of, that self-independence, so you're not kind of getting into these kind of feral behaviors and being kind of usury, using men, because sometimes women find themselves in those positions where they're using men and men are using them, and it's this horrible toxic dynamic if you don't have something of your own. And I think I was saying that, people might say, well, Chengi, that's because you have stuff. And I'm like, no, I used to work 3 jobs and still not earn enough. But whenever I would not accept a date unless I knew I could afford the cab there, the cab back, and I could afford to pay the bill if he was not a gentleman and, didn't want to pay. So that's what that video was about. I believe this gentleman was saying that he's getting confused. What's the difference between a woman being feminine and a woman using you for dinner.
Yes, yes.
I believe that was part of the question that he asked. And the truth of the matter is, none of us in this world can really tell a person's intention for us. Because we have a whole bunch of people who are psychologically wired to take from people.
Yes.
And you can't change that. I know that men find it difficult because, well, there's this expectation for them to be providing to pay for dates and do this. And you genuinely like this girl. You're genuinely interested in this woman. And you don't really know if she likes you or whether she just wants to go and have a free meal, a bit of entertainment, something to do. And your behind has kind of invested all of this money. And, you know, I don't think women often realize that if a guy is dating you, he's spending money. And even if he's dating 5 of you, spending money on 5 of you, it's a lot of money. Yeah. Okay. Especially if he's not a man that earns. So when that guy's paying for that dinner or paying for that coffee, he really is investing. For some guys, dinners and coffees are not investments, they're spends, right? But for most guys to pay for dinners is really him saying, look, I really like you and I really want to get to know you and I really want to take this further. But here's the problem is, and one of the things that men are not aware of is that they have 21 genes in their sperm dedicated to intuition alone. That's a lot of equipment. And intuition is your ability to read the unspoken. And one of the things men will be like, no, we're not that intuitive. Women are intuitive. No, women are instinctive. We've got a high instinct. And we do have intuition, but our instincts are a lot more sharper because instincts are more connected to the emotions. Intuition is more connected to the mind. Now, one of the things why nature passed down the gene from generation to generation and gave it to men to be intuitive is because a man has to be able to look at his world and sense dangers quite quickly so that he can protect. He needs to be ahead. You know, I always say when I'm walking with my son, the way he's seeing the world is very different from the way I'm seeing the world. When a man is walking with his woman, he's checking every angle, every corner. He's walking down the street with his woman, but it's a whole different psychology. We're just walking along. You know, we're interested in what we have to say to him and the conversation we're having. Honey, hold my hand. Sweetie, can you buy me? We're so oblivious because, you know, we have this protector. So men are seeing the world very differently. And that's why intuition is so important because a man has to be intuitive about that other man coming towards him. And he has to intuitively see that through certain markers. Certain micro expressions and that intuition in his genes, meaning the knowledge passed down from man to man to man, that this is dangerous, right? Because they didn't know to run away from lions until that was coded into a man's genes. And so I always say that men are highly intuitive, but even more important than that is a man will see 5 women in the room and he will know which one will sleep with him tonight. Which one is she's gonna sleep with me tonight and she won't take very much in the way of persuasion. She's gonna give me a run for my money. She's gonna be, so if men can quickly do that, and men do that fast. With us women, you can charm us into anything. You know, tell us the right thing and we're gone. But a man can tell she's an easy one. They have that ability. And so with biology and science and common sense tells us that you knew what this woman wanted from you. You knew it. Your intuition told you this chick is wasting your time. She just wants a night out. But why did you go ahead and do it? Because you're being driven by your sex drive. So let's call a spade a spade. A lot of men haven't got discipline. They don't have sexual discipline. In the same way as women don't have emotional discipline, right? A woman's weakness is in her emotions. A man's weakness is in his sexuality. If a man does not discipline his sexuality, he is fodder. You are going to buy dinners for every woman in town and none of them will shag you, right? Because you're not using your brain. You are using your driver, and you're doing, if I buy her dinner, maybe, but you already know. If you're a man men who practice semen retention, men who practice sexual discipline, hardly ever get played. We all get played. But it's the same thing as women that who practice emotional discipline, emotional mastery. They are more player proof because they're going to lean back and say, okay, that's what he's saying, but where's his actions? Same thing with a man. And what men are now being taught is, well, stop taking them for dinner and take them for coffee.
Yes.
Right? Reduce the investment. Take them for a walk in the park. That way you will know. And here's the thing. I was talking to one client. It was like, I take women to dinner and they just use me for their Instagram and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I understand. Turned out he doesn't know how to set boundaries. I was like, why didn't you tell her that is not acceptable behavior? I know why he didn't tell her, because if he tells her, he might not get laid.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. If he says, I don't appreciate you, would it be okay if you put your phone away while we have dinner instead of taking pictures and videos? Would it be okay if you did that? Because I would find that so much more respectful. If I say that I won't get laid. When you asked this girl on a date and you knew she wasn't interested, you told yourself, if I take her to the best restaurant.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not going to change when it comes to coffee. You're still taking the same usury woman to coffee. She doesn't like you. But in your mind, you think, well, at least it only cost me £5. But you're not learning any skills.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So why don't we learn some skills? Because if we can learn some skills, then I said to him, he said, maybe I should be taking them to coffee. I was like, but it's the same guy taking the same girl to a different location, albeit spending less, but it doesn't solve the problem.
Yes.
It doesn't solve the foundational problem. The foundational problem is you don't know how to pick them. Number 2, you have no sexual discipline. So you're spending all this money on all this women, and you know this chick wants to just take pictures for Instagram. You know it. But you're hoping if you really spend enough money and you take her to a really nice place, she's gonna... No, honey. There are a lot of beautiful, kind, sweet women that deserve a dinner from you.
Yeah.
That do like you. That do want to spend time with you. And maybe she might be at a 5 out of 10. But if you treat her well and you take her to dinner and you plan for her, that raises her attraction, because her inner, more primitive brain is like, provider, protector, charity. We're attracted to the man who's going to give us that safety. And so if you show up and you do what you do as a man and you say, look, I can put a meal on the table.
Yes.
Right? The very least I can do for you, woman, is put a meal on the table.
Yes.
Right? I'm declaring to you that I know who I am. I know that I'm a man. But choose a worthy woman.
Yes.
Choose a woman that you know likes you. Choose a woman that is in your league. Choose a woman that is going to, I always say there are women in every league of life that are beautiful. From models down to regular Chengi's and Yvonne, right? Regular girls like us, right? In every echelon, right? There are women that are beautiful and kind.
Yes.
Just know yourself, know what you're capable of doing. And some men as well, men in general are smart. They will date in their league or under. But some guys, they think I've got money and that should entitle me to that. But when it comes to sexual relations, when we're talking about the intersection of male and female, it is about masculine and feminine. Because as rich as you are, a broke guy with masculine energy will take your woman and run off with her. Right? That's the truth. Yes. Right? Yes. So I think men need to understand that women primarily want masculinity, a man who knows who he is, who won't tolerate disrespect under any circumstances whatsoever. If a man, I said to my son, you must understand this, and I say this to my male clients as well, your self-respect and being respected, disrespected, should be a number one non-negotiable for you as a man. Yes. It doesn't matter how pretty she is, doesn't matter how cute she is. If she disrespects you, she has been disqualified. Yes. And if men would have that mindset about themselves that, look, it's respect or nothing. Even if she wanted to use you, her attraction for you is going to rise. Even if she wasn't, and we're attracted to, we desire men who respect themselves and will not tolerate our disrespect. Because if I can disrespect you, you can't protect me. Because I'm a I am 5'2", honey. I'm little. Okay. If I can disrespect you and you will take it because you want to get laid, my attraction for you long term is going to go down, because do you let other men disrespect you too?
Yeah.
So what if a man walks up to me and tries to talk to me and you're there? If you take disrespect from me as a woman who has no physical ability to go toe to toe with you, you're going to take disrespect from the world. You are not a safe man, right? And therefore, nature tells me that my attraction for you must lower, and I must now find a real man, or what we call a real man, as in AKA a masculine man. Yeah. So I always say to men, if you want to raise a woman's attraction, don't mess with how you date. If you are a guy that takes a woman to dinner, take a woman to dinner, but know who you are and know what you will and will not accept, regardless. If a woman disrespects you, check her in a way that is very polite, very loving. If that doesn't get the result, walk away.
Yes.
And if men would master their sexuality, if they would say, you know what, I want to get laid and she's cute, but never at the expense of my dignity, never at the expense of my masculinity, and never at the expense of my self-respect. 99.9% of this question, how do I know the difference? You won't even have to ask it.
Yeah, and it goes back to education, isn't it?
Yes.
It's, as we were talking before, that because there's no one to educate our young men, and even some of the older ones, because whereas before it was okay, now everyone is a lot more savvy than they are, but there's no education for anyone anywhere. So everyone feels that they've got carte blanche. And if this continues to happen with this gentleman, he's going to be the one that's writing the question, wanting to know about masculine men. And, I can get another trophy, because that's all that he's been doing. If he doesn't learn now to, ask the right questions, do the right things, take care of you, but most importantly, respect you first.
100%. 100%. I want a world where men respect and love themselves.
Yeah.
I won't entertain a man that does not respect or love himself, because he can't respect and love me.
Yeah.
There's no way. You have to practice that self-love. You have to practice that self-respect. If I see a man who I can just tell him jump and he jumps, you're not my husband, you're not my man, I'm not interested. And I'm a very respectful and respecting woman.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to see men, because I love men. I've always said this, I keep saying it, because men have been good to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Men, I had a great relationship with my father. He was a good man, was a good father to me. He has a lot to answer for, and no one's perfect. And my brother was a great protector, and the men around me were protectors, they were providers. I grew up in a way where men cherished me. I've been cherished greatly. I have been honored. I'm one of these women who will be in a room full of 10 men and I'm always welcome. I've never felt unwelcome amongst men. So, and I have a son, whom I love dearly, but I love men. And I always thought God would make me work with men, because in school, girls didn't want to be my friend. So boys would be my friend. So I grew up always with boys as friends, and maybe one girlfriend that loved me, So I have a passion for men. And I truly believe that the work we do here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy with women is really producing quality women, that high quality men who are champions, who are working on themselves, can have access to great women. Our work, we have a lot of work to do on the planet, because we have to do, there's a lot of undoing we have to do. And to anyone who is open, who is willing to learn, to grow, the Black Swan Relationship Academy is here for you. We are here for you, and we love you, and we're going to say goodbye. Have you got any final words before we do
My
that?
final word is, for all you wonderful gentlemen out there, is to take care of you. Take care of you the very best way that you can. And remember, the way you treat you is how others will treat you.
And that would be an amen. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, liked, shared, commented, please do. And go into the description because there'll be plenty of stuff in there for you too. And we will see you on our next podcast. Leave your comments below. We're going to be reading it, and you never know, we might be commenting on your comment next time we are here. In the meantime, you are so loved. Take care of you.
Bye, everyone.